Dan, can you possibly lend me, I don't know, $700, $800, $900?
$700. What do you need $600 for? I don't have $500.
Yeah, I got to buy, well, I just bought some mud that had some logs underneath it, and I got to buy some more. This is a tough time of year, man. Whew, boy.
I imagine with all of the weather events you've been having down there, you've had like what, the last month, you've had all 4 seasons.
Yeah, it snowed 2 days ago. It did in May. It snowed, and then it's just pouring down rain. The ground's soft. We got our lawnmower stuck in the front yard. That should be a clue. And then, being a firewood business, you kind of like got to have logs. And then these logs that get drug out of the forests are just covered in mud. Everything's covered in mud.
Is that what is that a specialty flavor you're gonna put onto that? Like
Yeah, jeez.
pre or earthy, organic
Chocolate covered pretzels.
of the earth
That's
firewood.
what they look like. Yeah. I recall dealing with this a few years ago, and gee whiz, just my whole every machine I have was just covered. It just had a sheen of dust on it, from the mud just being knocked around, the chains dalling on them, and jeez,
Yep.
it's just the way it goes. You can't beat Mother Nature. Is that how the old saying goes?
That's how it goes. And it seems weird because like I've pulled logs out of the woods up here, and I always think, well, the bottom side's a little muddy or dirty. I'll just kind of roll it halfway and let the rain wash it off. But it seems like rain never washes
No, it
dirt or
doesn't work.
mud off the logs.
No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
No, I've never even tried pressure washing it. I guess that would work, but it just seems like it's just, I don't know, too much effort for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes a bigger mess, I think.
Yeah, it makes a mess. Yeah, gee whiz. Yeah, but this is one of the struggles of being a firewood business and the organizer of the International Firewood Expo. We're trying to do it in the spring. I've always said the firewood industry needs a spring show because that's when I think everyone buys their stuff. It seems like all of the shows are in the fall and everyone's pretty much done for the year. Have it in the spring, but the challenge is at least in this part of the world, it's kind of moist outside. The ground's kind of soft, and it slows down the timber industry
Yeah,
because they can't get their heavy machines in there without getting stuck. They can't get the wood out because it's too muddy. But we just aren't going to catch a break. The ground's just if it got any wetter, we'd live on a lake. In the lake.
well, that sounds like a lot of fun that you're dealing with. And yeah, you got to supply up for the expo, which is
Yes.
coming up, and your wood yard.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I look back upon it, I'm in my 8-ish year. I keep saying this. The biggest blind spot I had was accounting for the weather. It just, I don't know, when you're dreaming up this in your head, or if you're one of these people who likes to write stuff down on paper, every day is a 70 degree sunshiny dry day. And I mean, we get one or two of those a year. And outside of there, it's, rain, blizzards, 90-degree weather and 0-degree weather.
And it's always like the opposite of what you plan. Like if you plan for a day that you're going to, you need to be like out of the wood yard doing other stuff, that's the day it's the nicest. And then when you have the day that you want to go out and get work done in the wood yard, yeah, you get weather factors, snow, rain, everything but what you want.
Yeah. In a way, the International Firewood Expo last year was a snapshot of the role that weather can have with you. Because when everyone showed up on Thursday and then our first day of the show on Friday, the weather was great. But then on Saturday, it was a monsoon. It must have rained 20 inches of rain. And all of the great spots that you had people set up, were underwater. And you don't think of that when, in your head, everything's perfect weather. But then when it's not, you had people who couldn't get their stuff out because the ground was so soft. Oh, what a mess.
I think that was part of your plan, so they just leave it there for you to have.
The companies that ticked me off, I knew where to put them. And I gave them the elm logs to have to process.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the challenge with getting logs. I mean, okay, so I bought some muddy logs, but I think that's better than not having any, which is my big fear. And that's the stuff that also keeps me up at night. And I'm not just saying that as like a cliche. I mean, literally keeping me up at night, worrying about logs. And then the same thing for the firewood business. It's just been a weird few, not a few months, I mean, a lot of months in the firewood industry. And probably one of my biggest weaknesses as running this business is I can't get these logs in. It's not that, it's what's keeping me from growing even more, because I still feel I have more capacity to grow. But I don't have a reliable log supply. I just do not. I think it's a lot to do with the part of the region I live in,
Too
and
many other people, yeah,
yeah,
want them.
it's it's my. I've concluded it will be my struggle until the day I sell my business for $100 million.
So you're going to be struggling for a long time. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or until I wake up from that dream. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's been a few other weird things, and it kind of ties into, you know, being a firewood business, as you were talking about.
Yes.
I had a little bird that heard from another bird that heard from a friend of another bird to another bird, and through the grapevine is what I'm trying to say. That
Uh-huh.
yeah, there was some people talking to some other people that were like in the actual firewood industry
Yeah.
about and these people were, I guess, kind of like talking and trying to decide who was a legit firewood business, because, and they mentioned the fact that on YouTube there's a lot of people who pretend to be firewood businesses
They
and
pretend.
they're not. No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
And so it's kind of interesting that, what you were just saying there about running a business and having to get logs and thinking about all the stuff to do with the business.
Yes.
That kind of, that is something that everyone in firewood, I think, kind of relates to, whether or not you are a YouTube business or a real business.
You as in everyone, or you as in me?
You as in me. I guess.
And when you say me, you mean me, not you, is what you're
Me,
saying.
yes. Yeah.
Oh, God. So there have been a few videos. There was, I know of 2 videos where a person directly slanders me. And when I say me, I mean me, where he just comes right out and says that Joe is not, he didn't say I was a fraud. I'm interpreting this, but where he feels that I'm not a real business, that I'm just a front for a YouTube channel. Is that what you're talking about? Or that happened a while ago?
Yeah. Well, this was recently, and
This is recent. Oh,
yeah. At
God.
first, I thought it was, of course, a reference to me, because I get thrown in that category all the time. I don't make enough
But that is lame,
chords.
though, because you relish the role of being a hobbyist.
Yes, exactly.
But now even then you're not, because you are in business. you know
Right. So yeah,
oh
I'm not sure if it was me or you.
Okay, so Dan and I have this handshake agreement. Whenever I stumble upon a video that kind of badmouths Dan or like a passive aggressive post or a comment on another video that bad mouths Dan, Dan wants to know about it. If the same thing were to happen about me, the agreement is Dan is to not tell me about it because I don't, it's just, okay,
No,
just leave
you
it alone. But
yeah,
in this case here, you're saying you have a friend of an ex college roommate who has said that Joe is a fake firewood business.
yes. Yeah, see, yeah, the agreement is you don't wanna know about it, but
I don't
the
want to
I
know.
always bring it up and let you know about it because that's what I that's what I like to do.
Oh my gosh.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it was in a sense, it was you have to watch out from what you see on YouTube because a lot of people portray themselves as a business and they're not.
Yeah.
And it was kind
Okay.
of in reference to you.
Yeah. Jeez. So, a few things. All right. The first thing I want to say is in June of this year, I will be attending my 40th high school graduation reunion.
Jeez.
Okay. And what that means is I've been I've been out of high school for 40 years and a lot of this stuff I just literally don't care anymore, you know? Like back in high school, yeah, you cared what other people thought about you, you wanted to hang out with the right group and wear the right clothes and like the right teams and this and that and okay, I think but we've all evolved and this has been 40 years ago, Dan. I literally unless you're helping me pay my house payment, I literally don't care what other people think about me. You know, I think though
Yeah.
that when people slander me, there's got to be a level of concern because someone's trying to hurt you. Um, and the whenever I have responded to these things, like I've done some videos where I'm talking about why I stack firewood. Oh my gosh, it is because I am trying to protect the business model. Because I think there's a lot of people out there, I call it tribalism, this tribalist lifestyle, where, for instance, I have a friend that, we started golfing this is back when I was young and limber. And I would go to the golf course with my Kmart golf clubs and a bag that I got at a garage sale. I would wear my tennis shoes and my cutoff shorts and a t-shirt and my Cleveland Indians ball hat. That's how I golfed. My friend went out and got these golfing spikes
Oh
and
yeah.
these slacks and these Izod shirts and a visor. I mean, he looked the part. He was a tribalist. That's when you looked at him, he was like, this guy's a golfer. Okay. I was just Joe who golfed. All right. It wasn't who it didn't, I didn't let that I didn't have to like lick and play the part to be the part. I was just who I am. And I think a part of that too is with my firewood business. I think people would look at me and say, I don't know what the heck that guy does. I'm not a logger. I don't wear boots. A lot of these comments too now they're starting to come back to me over the years. People would criticize me that I wear tennis shoes. I wear shorts and a t-shirt. Okay? So if there is a general look for a firewood business out there, I don't look like it. I don't have a beard and wear the Pennsylvania tuxedo coat
Or a
every
flannel. Do
day.
you have a flannel? A red and black flannel with
Well, I have
suspenders?
one that I wear because it looks good on video. It's bright red. Everything here in Northeast Ohio, I look out the window, it's gray and foul, and the sun never shines. But that red coat, it just pops on the screen. I wear it because it looks good. Okay. That's not like an image thing for me, but whatever. So I can see if a person has is still very deep into this high school mentality and they're trying to like differentiate themselves from other people, I think I'm wide open for that. I don't look the part. I never will. I'm just going to let you down if that's important to you. And then I think there's also the other people out there who are just, for a lack of a better term, they're just full of themselves and they are highly annoyed by me because my business model is not like theirs. I don't make big volume. I don't have big yards, of big logs and big machines and big this and big that. I don't. My business model is my own creation and it works. And here I am. So I don't know, Dan, what makes a real firewood business?
Well, I would say one, they sell firewood.
They sell firewood. That is a great,
um,
I think it's definitional. If you sell firewood for a business, you are a firewood business.
there you go. Or well, you might need a chainsaw and a log splitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
That
that
is the
that
fun
does it.
part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the so this I'm having flashbacks. So I used to work as a mechanic. And we had a guy, one of the mechanics, his nickname was the Boomerang. He was the boomerang mechanic because any car he would work on would leave that door and then it would boomerang and come back in the other door because he fixed it wrong and someone else had to fix his repairs. He was the boomerang mechanic. So I was standing next to the service writer one day, and this customer walks up to him because the boomerang was working on his car. And he points at him. He goes, "Hey, is that guy professional?" And the service writer, with a straight face, he goes, "Absolutely, he is." He goes, "Okay." So he goes back in and sits down. And I kind of look at the service writer. And as he's walking past me, he goes, "We pay him. Therefore, he's a professional." So yeah, it doesn't mean he was competent at what he did. It just meant that he was professional because we paid him. It's definitional. If you are in business and you sell firewood, you're a firewood business. What's the
Yeah.
big deal? Yeah.
I don't know.
Am I missing something here, Dan? So, what is it also maybe too that because I am a YouTube channel, that I don't people think that I am a heavily leveraged presence because of YouTube and that's what's carrying me through all this. And I'm just telling you the answer is no. Without showing you my tax returns, there was a time when I felt both my firewood business and my YouTube channel were kind of on the same upward trajectory, but not anymore. YouTube stinks, man. There's not a lot of money in it. I mean, you can't, it doesn't take much to figure out how much a person makes on YouTube. And it's not chump change. I'm not going to turn it down. But,
Right.
my firewood business is a real, despite any heartburn that a person who can't get over these kind of things, my firewood business is legit. It is for real. It is still growing. The only thing holding me back right now is my log supply. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So get over yourself. Gosh.
That might beg the question, are you a real firewood business if you can't get logs?
Well, can't get enough logs.
Yes. Okay.
Can't,
All right.
yeah,
All right. Can't
can't
get
get
enough
enough
logs.
logs. Yeah. So I sell firewood different than you. All right. So what? Um, why do we all have to be the same? Why do I have to compete in your arena? I've decided that I'm going to do it different. So I do my own thing. And while I do it, I enjoy myself. I mind my own business. I speak ill of no one. You've never, ever heard me say anything bad about another channel or about another person on my YouTube channel. Never. I make general statements about some of the struggles our industry has, and this is one of them. And this is indicative of a industry where it is not filled with creative thinking people. Here I am an outlier, and that's a problem for someone. I feel like again we're back in high school in the cafeteria, and we got a table of cool kids who are annoyed by the one kid sitting at a table all by himself. They just can't leave him alone. They got to make his life miserable. And now you got people out there throwing rocks at me and you. I see it out there too.
Yep. It's
About you, but here we are, 40 years out of high school.
I think one of the problems is that people can't separate and differentiate between the fact that YouTube representation is completely different than representation in the firewood industry. Like you can't look at someone and say they have a YouTube channel, but because they only do 10 cords of firewood a year, they wouldn't be a good match for a manufacturer to like work with. They want to look at it as, oh, you have to at least produce 100 cords a year to be legit firewood business, and to be a legit firewood business, that gives you the, you know, credentials to then use your YouTube channel to work with company XYZ.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know if I agree with that. I think it's still just definitional. It could still be a side hustle for someone. It
Right.
could
No,
still
I'm,
be,
yeah.
it could still be a hobby. I don't know where you draw the line between, well, how much volume do you make?
No, I'm saying that the reason someone would say to another person, this business isn't a legit firewood business, but just because they have a big YouTube presence, don't look at that as, you know, a gauge to judge them on. They're like, they want to make it seem like you have to do X number of cords a year to be considered a firewood business, not
Yeah.
just one of those people on YouTube pretending to be a firewood business.
Yeah.
But, you know, if someone is looking to gain exposure for their company, they don't care how many cords of firewood you make a year. They want to know what your presence is on social media. So that's where there's a separation that I don't think a lot of people understand.
Yeah. I think you're probably on to something there, Dan. Um, I can only speak for me, and I, I'm, I hate to admit this, but I'm a full-time firewood business, and I make a living doing it. And I am also a YouTube channel. I remember when I first started, I had to step away from my career to take care of my dad. So I had firewood. At that time, I was not YouTube, but I was substitute teaching in school, to help put keep gas in the gas tank. And then when dad passed away, the YouTube thing started, and it started off kind of fast for me. I grew rapidly, but then, the firewood business was just steady growth. To me, my YouTube channel, so like, even with like the machines, everything I've bought on it except the Easton made axis, but had I not, I would have bought it. I don't see what the big deal is there. And my business growth is practically nothing to do with my YouTube channel because none of my customers know about it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not
Yeah.
using your channel to get more business for your firewood. And you're not, every time you deliver firewood, you're not trying to get people to subscribe to your channel. You're not
No.
making them work together. No.
No, it never ever comes up. I can only think of, I said, I can only think of 3 customers out of my thousands of deliveries that know of my YouTube thing before. I think, probably, I think it's reasonable. That's why they called.
Yep.
Yeah. And I've had a lot of calls from out of my area, and I just say, no, it doesn't make sense for me to deliver to you. It's too far. Unless it was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, different story.
Oh, yeah.
But that had nothing. Again, that was nothing to do with YouTube. That was because they found me because of my website. You know, I just applied modern retail principles to firewood, and I see firewood different. My video coming out, it should be out on this day of this, is probably going to trigger some of these same people because I dare to stack firewood, which I guess is wrong. But then I was adjusting one of my stacks, which meant that I did it wrong a second time.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, some of these people here are really going to be upset about this. And I was wearing tennis shoes when I did it.
Oh,
And
strike 3.
oh my gosh, how dare I, Dan? Yeah. So, I when I think back, like that golf thing, I didn't fit in with the golfing crowd. I didn't. When I was a baseball player, serious, I was a pitcher, and I didn't ever bat. Although I always felt like I was a pretty decent hitter, but I just never hit because I was a pitcher. So I would show up to the games. I would put my cleats on in the car, and I'd walk into the dugout with my glove. That's all I had. Well, everyone else had bat bags. They had their fancy coats and stuff, and I didn't. I didn't fit in. I just didn't look like I was a baseball player. I don't know. I just didn't fit in. After a while, to me, it's just I am who I am. I dress how I want to dress. I act how I want to act. And I'm not a tribalist. I don't have this need to like look the part so that I can fit in. I just am who I am. And that's the same way in firewood. I don't know. To me, that is the firewood industry and that's what I know. And I'm not going to change to humor someone else or because I have a need to look the part or to fit in. I am just Joe.
Plain
you
and
know?
simple. Just
Yeah.
Joe.
I can't help it. That's just
Yeah.
how I am. Yeah. So that okay. Okay. This is I've beat
We got
around
him
the
going
bush with
now.
this.
Look at that.
Yeah,
We got
I'm
him
just saying
riled up.
I have beat around the bush about this a while back, and for the for the efficacy of my YouTube channel and my presence and my uh, firewood delivery service. Okay. I am a for real firewood delivery service. I am not a fraud. My YouTube channel is not a facade. It is for real. It is. And we pay the house and we keep food on the table because of my firewood business. And it doesn't look like yours, and that is okay. And if you do not sell firewood like me, then I am glad for you and I wish you the best. You will never hear me say something bad about you or tear you down or whatever the psychological need is. It doesn't exist on my end. I wish you guys the best. I do.
And
Yeah.
now you just need more logs
I need more logs. Yeah.
without
That
mud.
is, yeah. Oh, God. I need more logs. Um, I need a good 1.5 to 2 weeks with the ability to do nothing but to do maintenance on my trucks. I got a lot of
Jeez.
they need brake work, they need suspension work, they need some rust mitigation. One needs a new windshield. But when you're sole proprietor doing all this other stuff, just some things get marginalized and you get to it when you can.
I was going to say, it seems like you've been working on these trucks for the last 2 months.
Well, they
Every
until
now and then
until
there's.
they don't yeah, until they don't start or don't stop, things get pushed down the road. The can gets kicked down the road. Yeah, that is that that that's a reality for me. Dan, what do you think? What is a real if I'm not a real firewood business, what do you define a real firewood business?
I have no idea anymore.
I don't it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. So it's like the boomerang mechanic. He got paid, therefore he is a professional. So if
Yeah,
you sell firewood for money, and I guess if you're a registered business with a vendor's license, you're a firewood business. So if I'm not good enough for you, then I can't do nothing about that. If
it just
maybe I
is what
could,
it is.
I'll quote George Michael, the great singer from that iconic band Wham. People, you can never change the way they feel. Better let them do just what they will because they will.
Oh,
Yeah. I can't do anything about it. I'll just keep doing it my way. And that's good enough for me. Yeah.
well, there you go. All right.
So, Dan, I want you to remember our handshake agreement. I don't want to know about these things.
Oh, I'm going to keep bringing them up. This is where I get my enjoyment and my entertainment is rattling your cage.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I have a secret talent rattling cages. I'm just like the
Yeah.
natural heel, you know. I get
Yeah.
the reaction. I go for it. I get the reaction.
You have never had your cage rattled until it's been rattled by a GFY certified hobbyist.
Oh yeah, and watch out when that happens.
All right.
All right. Well,
Well,
I got the band looking at us here. So
yeah.
you better say the words.
About striking up the band. Let's strike up the band.
Striking up the band. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. All right. Well,
All right.
Dan, let's thank everyone for tuning in and helping make the Woodhounds the #1 fake firewood podcast in the world.
I was going to add that. I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Tuning in.
Okay.
If you're listening on your fake podcast, whatever platform,
Yeah.
leave us a review. Don't make that fake.
Leave us a real review, not one of those fake ones that you hear about. Yeah. All right. Well, Dan, let's tell everyone out there to don't be
Fake.
Yeah. And don't be
Fake.
Yeah. And while you're not being a phony, then please have
A great day.